Hey, what's up, everybody? The VC here, coming at you with another video. We got anything and everything. I'm here on YouTube. I'm here on Rumble. However way you want to, you know, capture my content. I'm in both places. Check it out. Again, it's about anything and everything. And top of the matter here is talking about what's been going on these last couple of days. Trump's been in a mode this whole week in cleanup mode, all right, cleaning up the Democrats' mess of the last 4 years, and that's all it's been. That's all he's been doing. He's been doing pretty much being the cleanup crew, and so with all the executive orders, killing DEI, bringing back office workers, federally back to the office. Um, just what do you call it? Deportation efforts. I mean, it's just cleaning up the mess that the Democrats left behind, um, and that's what it is. So cleanup mode it is, and that's like the symbol of my channel, right? The cleaner. All right, but yeah. So anyhow, Trump went to North Carolina, kind of toured the area. Felt like, well, nothing's, FEMA hasn't done enough to help North Carolina. So he said, you know what? I think we just got to squash FEMA. I think FEMA just needs to go away. Like, close down for good. I think it's a good idea. His idea was to just leave it up to the state, and federally they can assist, but he thinks that it's best for the state to handle the crises at hand, and federally they could step in when necessary from the government and not from a organization within the government named FEMA. He don't think FEMA is necessary. He thinks it's just a waste, right? And it is. It's a wasted bureaucracy of an organization that recently got pillaged uh, of their funds to fund illegals coming across the border, as Mayorkas admitted that he said when the hurricanes were happening, we have no money. It's like, wow. The former Homeland Security, I don't know what you want to call him, rep. All right, so Mayorkas garbage. North Carolina is going to get more help from directly from Trump and the government, and decide FEMA is no longer necessary and wants to look into closing down FEMA for good. I like it. So next stop, California. All right. So after North Carolina, he flies into California, and guess who he meets at the airport? Right, as Gavin Newsom said, he's going to meet him on the tarmac. And guess what Gavin does? He bends the knee. He's a bitch. He marks out like a mark that he is because he's a bitch, straight up. So that's what happened there. All right, all the trash talking, and then he greets them and acts like they're buddy buddy now, and hey buddy, and all that stuff. And Gavin's just a bitch, straight up bitch. All right. So look at this right here. Just a straight up bitch. It's so fake. What a fake con man. Gavin's garbage. Get the fuck out of here, man. Fake, man. Garbage. So that's that, right? Little meet and greet there. Let's look at this right here while we're at it.
Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong, executive chairman and owner of the Los Angeles Times, Governor Chris Sununu, now former governor of New Hampshire, watching along with us. Governor, as you see this, it's easy to say this is a made-for-TV moment, the roundtable listening session. Why is it important?
There's a fire chief right there.
Yeah,
the DEI
this is
fire chief
absolutely
right
critical.
there.
In a crisis, nothing is more important than transparency and communication, right? Transparency is the foundation of public trust when you're dealing with a crisis, when you're dealing with government. And what you're seeing, there's two real things I think that have to be brought out here. Number one, the fact that you have a president like Trump in these moments that will not just spend the time and take the questions and have honest conversations with those who have suffered and that have dealt with this on the ground, but he's going to do that with the press. We've already seen it in the first few days of his presidency. He's going to take any question and give his unvarnished answers in a very open way. And what that does, it gets people to engage.
And say what you want, Biden would never do that. Look at all this stuff that's been happening in California. There's no way Biden would ever come out to do what you could say what you want to say about Trump, but Biden would never do this. Let alone Kamala wouldn't even do this. She couldn't even answer the questions.
People want to watch that, and they want to engage with the news when it's on the ground if they believe it's at least transparent. And they might agree or disagree with the president, but at least they know where they're coming from. And I want to take this moment and just say, as a guy up here in New England, hats off to the LA Times. And I'm not just saying this because I'm on with Dr. Soon Cheung, but what the LA Times is really doing is saying, look, we're going to call the balls and strikes like we see them. We're not going to play a political game. This is a crisis, and we're going to deliver the news. We're going to deliver the story on the ground
politically,
in an unvarnished way.
the
And
left,
you know what happens? For a national story, people want to engage in it. And I can tell you, people here in New England, they're reading the LA Times.
And the thing is, though, the left has been so censored and so controlling all this time that you couldn't really see the right narrative. You couldn't really see open conversation, open chatter, because it was pretty much covered up and censored and wouldn't allow this free press to roam. Oh, shit. And so I think, in essence, it's actually a good thing, what's been happening. All this stuff, it's almost like it opens up everything to be able to just breathe again, right? Everything was so pressed that you almost feel like you could just breathe again. It's crazy how it sounds.
Stories. They're reading that frontline information because it doesn't come with political bias one way or the other. Like during the 2020 riots, nobody wanted to read what the Seattle papers and the Seattle News were reporting because it all came with this politicalization one way or the other. Right. So it didn't seem honest. It didn't seem real. It wasn't the real news story of that moment. But I think what the LA Times is showing to everybody is be unvarnished, call the balls and strikes like you see them, match that with the transparency of Donald Trump, whether you agree with him or not, and America is going to engage in that story.
It's a breath of fresh air.
Oh, they certainly already have engaged in the story because it crystallized so much of the fires of the divide and the argument, and also what's best in America, right? That the worst of times bring out the best in Americans. Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong, owner of the Los Angeles Times, with us. One thing that is remarkable about Americans is their willingness to forgive. What is required, though, is for people to come out and say, we screwed up and we're going to do better. Have you heard from either Karen Bass, the mayor, or the governor?
Nope.
That mea culpa of acknowledging.
No, they're too arrogant.
Perhaps a lot of the policies that they had, for whatever good intentions,
Democrats are too arrogant.
Were flawed. And part of
too arrogant.
Rebuilding has to be looking again at those policies that your papers criticized.
Well, sadly, I've heard from both, and sadly, the answer to that is no.
Yeah.
And I think this is exactly what Governor Sununu just mentioned. I think what the public wants is complete transparency. I mean, I was the first to admit that when we endorsed Karen Bass, that was maybe a mistake. But we now need to move on and accept responsibility, especially if you're in leadership.
And that's the thing that Democrats never do.
I'm not hearing even direct conversations I've had with both the mayor and texts with the governor, this level of responsibility. In fact, the governor's put out words of misinformation, which is not true, and we're reporting, as you said, the balls and strikes and the facts. That's why I think we need the Leadership Council of the private sector, which I'm now putting together at the LA Times, and we're just announcing that this weekend.
I have to ask, have you guys been invited to be in any of these meetings? Typically, it's the White House advance who's involved, but normally it's the local officials who set these kind of listening sessions or these roundtables up. Have you seen any interest by them to have somebody like yourself or Rick Caruso, the developer who's working in the Pacific Palisades, and others, sort of a diverse set of political views, to be here at this roundtable and have these conversations?
No. I can emphatically say no. So, look, it's sadly, to me, in my mind, I'm a little jaded now. It was somewhat quasi-expected. So what we've done at the LA Times is in this Leadership Council, I've already rounded up and identified amazing people who have actually stood up and said, we want to participate in rebuilding.
Thanks for watching.
All right, interesting stuff there. See how garbage Democrats are? So they met at the airport, right? Met on the tarmac. Gavin bend the knee. He's garbage. He's a bitch. And that's exactly what happened, right? So let me just get to that. Let's see here. Let's get to this here.
Jonathan, I don't know if we can hear from there, but let's listen in.
Can't hear. He'll speak up over here.
In very good shape. We have the congressman in charge and Michael Watley, and we're going to do a lot of work. We have the Army Corps of Engineers working as they are here, and I think you're going to see some very big progress. They left them high and dry, and now we're going to be taking a little tour with some of the people from the area. I appreciate the governor coming out and meeting me, Kevin.
Look at that, what a mark.
Very much, and
true bitch.
We'll be talking a little bit. We want to get it fixed. We want to get the problem fixed. And there'll be some ways, but it's like you got hit by a bomb, right?
Yeah,
like
the Gavin bomb. They got hit by the Gavin bomb, all right, of mismanagement and just money funneling, corruptness, and money wasting, all right, and then they get hit with the Gavin bomb.
Most importantly, thank you for being here. It means a great deal to all of us, and not just the folks in Palisades, the folks in Altadena
Fake as
that
fuck.
were devastated. We're
Fuck
gonna
out of
need your
here.
support. We're going to need your help. You were there for us during COVID. I don't forget that.
Whatever.
And I have all the expectations.
And then you
that we'll be able
trash
to work
talk,
together
man. Fuck
to get
you.
this speedy recovery.
We will. We're going to get it done. Tremendous numbers of lives have been affected. A lot of real estate's been affected. Nobody's ever probably seen anything like this.
Yeah, nobody's ever seen a Gavin bomb
You
get
could
dropped
almost say
before.
since the Second World War, when you think of it. I mean, nothing like this has happened. And we're going to get it fixed, so we'll get it permanently fixed, so it can't happen again. And again, we'll be talking a little bit later, and we'll get it worked out, okay?
I appreciate it, Mr. President.
Thank
Funny
you, Jeff.
shit.
Thank you very much.
Both of you have disagreed a lot over the past week over what has happened in this state. How do you plan to
We got to
put your
get it
differences
finished.
aside?
We're looking to get something completed. And the way you get it completed is to work together. It's the governor of the state. And we're going to get it completed. They're going to need a lot of federal help. Unless you don't need any, which would be okay.
We're going to need a lot of federal help.
Yeah, that's par for the course with them. Par for the course, because they love to just spin frivolously on bullshit, DEI, illegals, homeless to nowhere, trained to nowhere, mismanagement of the land, defunding police, and corruptness, pocketing money. And then when shit happens, oh, let me put my hand out. The government will bail us out. No. I hope that they do put like what do you call that? Some sort of attachment to the government paying bailout here that essentially was Gavin asking for. Stipulations that, hey, you got to do this, and this with it, or if you don't, then shit hits the fan. You're gonna have to go do some cutting of your own to find it for yourself then in your state. because he really needs to hold Gavin's feet to the fire and put some stipulations on things. I don't care what Democrats will cry about. Oh no, they don't do that in any other disasters, but you don't see that really anywhere but California, right? And then you expect to be bailed out by the government, and that's not the way it works. If you are better responsible in budgeting and spending, this mess wouldn't happen. Think about it. Trump's first week in office, all he's been doing is cleaning up the mess, the swamp and the mess, right? The open borders, close the border, right? Deportations, right? Kick them all out. All these people that don't belong illegally, they don't belong, kick them out, right? All this wasted money given to homeless and illegals. It could be reused, repurposed for maybe fixing our infrastructure, funding other things, right? Addiction issues instead of actually homeless, because Gavin's pea brain, he thinks that homeless means unhoused, and it's not really the case. It's part of the case, but part of the problem is addiction, right? Drug addiction. And all they care about is feeding their addictions. So if you're just giving them money, that's not going to fix their addiction issues. That's why homeless issues have grown in California and not gotten better, despite billions and billions of dollars. And then you wonder why it's gotten worse. How can you spend so much and it gets worse? I mean, it's unheard of. And in any corporation, you get fired for that. And why is Gavin not fired? Because it's a feel good, right? Democrats, a mindset, the Hollywood elite's mindset is, oh, because they make you feel good, right? So they're okay, right? They get a free pass. No, it finally takes a wildfire to burn down in their backyard. And when you think about it, it's just a big, shitty mess that Trump has to come in to do cleanup. Think about it. If the Democrats didn't do all this, none of this would be happening right now. Deportations would be happening right now. This whole closing the border stuff wouldn't be happening right now. Wildfires that Trump has to come out to say, hey, turn on your water, turn on your dams, open it all up. This stuff wouldn't be happening right now if Gavin just spent money for better land management, right? Clean up the brush, cut back trees, do all the simple things that we know that California is prone to fires for. All right, you do all that stuff instead of funding bullshit like DEI and stuff, and illegals and all that. And when you think about it, it'll be money well spent. Disasters like this wouldn't happen, and we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. Well, that just shows how idiotic and pea-brain Dumb and Dumber is, right, between Karen Bass and Gavin. So let's take a look over here. All right, interesting stuff here. Let me see.
Jonathan, I don't know if we can...
We already looked at that. Looked at that. Look at this one right here. Check this out.
Barbara Gus works great, but he doesn't work like Wealthfront. Wealthfront keeps your investments working.
So after meeting Gavin at the airport, he meets Karen Bass at this sit-down kind of round table here. And a lot of media is reporting about how they had a little verbal sparring here. So let's take a look.
But we are going to move as fast as we can, but we want you to be safe. And we want you to be back in your homes immediately.
But the people are willing to clean out their own debris. It doesn't cost a lot.
Yes, and they can.
You should let them do it, because by the time you hire contractors, it's going to be 2 years.
If a family...
People are willing to get a dumpster and do it themselves and clean it out.
And they can.
There's not that much left. It's all incinerated.
That's right.
And, you know, it's just going to take a long time if you do. You can do some of it, but a lot of these people, I know that guy right there that's talking. I know my people. You'll be on that thing tonight, throwing the stuff away, and your site it'll look perfect within 24 hours, and that's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to wait around for 7 months till the city hires some demolition contract that's going to charge him $25,000 to do his lot. Yeah. I think you have emergency powers just like I do, and I'm exercising my emergency powers. You have to exercise them also.
I did exercise them.
Because I looked, I mean, you have a very powerful emergency power, and you can do everything within 24 hours.
Yes. And if individuals want to clear out their property, they can. Well, yes, but you know that you will be able to go back soon.
Mr. President.
We think within a week.
That's a long time, a week. I'll be honest. To me, everyone's standing in front of their house. They want to go to work, and they're not allowed to do it.
And the most important thing is for people to be safe.
They're safe. They're safe. You know what? They're not safe. They're not safe now. They're going to be much safer. A week is actually a long time, the way I look at it. I watched hundreds of people standing in front of their lots, and they're not allowed to go in. It's all burned. It's gone. It's done. Nothing's going to happen to it. It's not going to burn anymore. There's nothing to burn. There's almost nothing to burn. And they want to go in. The people are all over the place. They're standing, and I say, why aren't you going in? We're trying to get a permit. And the permit's going to take them, everybody said 18 months. You said 18 months. You said 18 months.
18 months just for a permit. It's a long-ass time. Like, that's the problem with that, is the bureaucracy of all this crap. You need permits for everything. It's like, for what? Why can't we just freely do what we need if it's ours? If we own the place, we own the property, why can't we just do what we please? I don't get why you need to permit everything. And it's just 18 months just to get a permit to clean up is ridiculous.
That was last night. And that was last night on that.
In terms of when it said last night, it was confirmed.
Right.
That was the first time.
Yesterday.
Mr. President, we're going to be together next week, and during the interim, many of us are involved in, and Tom McClintock, who you know has been an expert on this for years.
That's right.
We are going to be putting conditions on the money that do two things: require that it be done timely and affordable, and then secondly, that we protect those who will come afterwards. As we speak, there are 6,000 acres burning in my district on the Mexican border. There will be more fires until we include in any disaster relief
needs to be held to the fire.
Items which will prevent it or at least mitigate it from happening again. So you're going to see us proposing both of those.
Like water. Little things like water. You know, the party of common sense. See, we're the party of common sense. You're not, in all fairness.
Pretty funny, right? Party of common sense in her face. Funny shit. All right, so yeah, Gavin's a bitch. He bent the knee, and I can't wait to see ICE coming over to California to, do some, what do you call that, deportations, and then see what happens from there. That's what I want to see. I want to know what's going to happen with some deportations in California. All right, so yeah, Trump decides he wants to just get rid of FEMA for good. So this was an interesting discussion that he said in North Carolina. I guess there was a conversation carried here in California. Let's see what they said here.
FEMA was extremely helpful.
Yep. That was the old days when FEMA was good. FEMA's no good anymore. That was when we ran it. FEMA was very good, but now FEMA's not good.
Some good news from Paradise. We stood together there 6 years ago, along with the governor.
That was so terrible.
That 3,400 homes have been rebuilt out of the 18,000 lost, and there's 400 more in the wings. And so FEMA was very helpful. Now my colleague who has Altadena here, probably a very similar situation. Clearing the lots, they're probably going to have to clear about a foot worth of soil underneath those foundations to get the toxicity out. So they'll need a lot of help. Those are working class folks in Altadena.
And we did a good job with you
And
people.
FEMA was extremely helpful.
Yep.
30,000.
That was the old days when FEMA was good. FEMA's no good anymore.
Yeah.
That was when we ran it. FEMA was very good, but now FEMA's not good.
We got to get them on track. But on the water, thanks so much for your strong efforts on that. Right now, Lake Shasta, which is in my district, is dumping more water than what is coming in. So is Folsom Lake. And those are federal projects that should be building up because we're latter January here. And there's not, you can't count on the rain and the snow coming every year. And so if we don't fill those projects, then my colleague in San Joaquin Valley isn't going to get his water for his farmers. Well, it might be all right up in the north. They aren't going to get it. And then the water needs to go through aqueduct for Southern Cal to refill maybe the Santa Ynez Reservoir that was empty during this.
You know, you don't even need reservoirs. With the water coming down, you don't need the reservoir. You have so much water, you don't need it. You only have reservoirs because you're trying to hold water. But you have natural water coming down along the coast. It's for 1 million years it's been coming. You know that, right?
Yeah.
In addition to that, you have a lot of half pipe. In other words, you have the half pipe that's built, and it hasn't been used. You see, it's bone dry. No water's been in that half pipe for years and years. It was closed up years ago.
Had the reservoir,
It's already there. Yeah.
Had
You
the
got it, you
reservoir
got it.
above Santa Palisades been full, they wouldn't have run out of water in a few hours. It would have gone for at least a few days with 40 acre feet out of 600,000
That
acre
reservoir's
feet.
been empty for a long time.
Yep.
It shouldn't have been empty.
Interesting. Anyhow, yeah, this is funny. The resurfaced clip of Gavin Newsom boasting about
If you're looking to
reducing
sell your
water
car,
supplies.
Carvana will give you a real offer in seconds.
Yeah, garbage, all right. But yeah, so that's the latest on everything. Just wanted to just share that with you guys, how Gavin bend the knee because he's a bitch. And here's Trump to be the hero, save the day. Gets into it with Karen Bass because she's garbage. And that's where it's at. So let me know what you think. They're all corrupt. Duh. AOC took that time to figure that out. Pretty funny. Because she's corrupt too. Anyhow, that's enough of me. Can't wait to see Deportations coming to California. Comment down below, let me know what you think. And you can see me on Rumble too. Either Rumble or YouTube. I do a dual post between here and Rumble. Alright. Other than that, I'll catch you again on another one. Subscribe. Stay up to date. Thanks. I'll see you next one.